Okay, so welcome everybody to the Heart Valve Society interview series. My name is Hector Michelena. I'm a cardiology consultant and professor of medicine at the Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota. And we have come up with this series on behalf of the Heart Valve Society such that we can connect with experts in our field and discuss fascinating topics and share valuable insights. And we hope that you will enjoy it. Before we dive in today, I just like to remind you about the significant benefits of becoming a Heart Valve Society member. Our annual membership offers a bunch of exciting opportunities. Be sure to visit the Heart Valve Society website to learn more about how you can join and get involved. This is a society that is open to offer great inclusivity for all disciplines regarding valvular heart disease. And we have a special soft place for our junior colleagues that are starting their careers. So we want to include everybody. We're also thrilled to announce that the next annual meeting of the Heart Valve Society is going to be in April, and it will be in Cairo, Egypt. So this is going to be a tremendous meeting where you would have the opportunity of visiting Cairo. I think the new Museum of Cairo is open now, and you can take a taxi to Alexandria, which I have done before, and then you can fly to Luxor, to the Valley of the Kings as well. So registration and housing are available online, and we hope to see you there. Now, today I'm joined by Dr. Kishan Nareen. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon and associate professor of surgery at Libin Cardiovascular Institute of Foothills Medical Center, University of Calgary. So welcome, Kishan. He is part of the interview panel today. But it is my pleasure, my distinct pleasure today, to present the Journal of Heart Valve Disease and to discuss why it is so important with our special guest today, Dr. Philippe Pibarot. Dr. Pibarot is the head of cardiology research of the Institut Universitaire of Cardiology and Pneumonology of Quebec. And he is a titular professor of the Department of Medicine of Laval University. Not only that, he's the chair of valvular heart disease for Canada, and he is our own editor-in-chief for the Journal of the Heart Valve Society. Welcome, Philippe. So good to have you.
Thank you so much, Hector, and thanks for having me for this this interview. It's a great pleasure and honor.
Yeah, want to mention that the birth of the Journal of Heart Valve Disease has been a prolonged one and has required a lot of efforts from many, and it is really a dream come true. I did want to start the interview asking you, Philippe, in a world of growing medical journals, as we see one popping after the other, why do we need a journal that is dedicated to heart valve diseases alone?
Yes, because there is no journal so far that is fully dedicated to heart valve disease. And this is really the goal of the Journal of the Heart Valve Society. You know, heart valve disease, this is the most frequent cardiovascular disease worldwide. If you look in high-income countries, it's the third most frequent. But worldwide, because of rheumatic heart disease, this is the most frequent. And it is responsible for the loss of millions of lives and young lives every year. And there is no pharmacotherapy to treat, no drug is able to slow or block the progression of valve disease. So the only option so far that we have to treat valvular disease is do a surgery or transcatheter intervention now to repair or replace the valve. And so this is a major valvular disease, a major socioeconomic and healthcare burden, worldwide. And so we need a hub. We need a global hub for the people interested and involved in the diagnosis, prevention, and treatment of valvular disease. And this is the goal of the Journal of the Heart Valve Society, which is, I think, this is the flagship of the Heart Valve Society. It is owned by the Heart Valve Society, and the publisher is SAGE. And we are at a point where we're going to launch the first issue soon.
That's fantastic. So I'm very happy to hear that the initiative for the journal is a global one, meaning we're not just representing first world countries and high-end industry-supported research, but we're also becoming a global hub for other diseases that are valvular and that have been omitted in the past, such as rheumatic heart disease. I think that is a super important thing that you mentioned. Now, let me ask you directly: what is the mission and what are the goals of the journal?
Yeah, so the mission is, I would say, very simple. It is to it's an international peer-reviewed journal, and the purpose is really to publish high quality, original research and innovation, but also review articles and viewpoints and debates on the etiology, pathophysiology, diagnosis, prevention, and treatment of heart valve disease. So we are open to every discipline, every expertise. We are open to every authorship, as long as you're interested and this is related, the topic is related to heart valve disease, which is obviously our main focus. But the ultimate goal is of the journal and of our mission is to improve the longevity and the quality of life of people living with valvular disease. And so we're really meant to be a voice and forum to the research and healthcare community involved in the management of valvular disease and to the people living with valvular disease. I think, the people living with valvular disease, the patients, they don't have enough voice, enough, power and weight on the way they're treated, they're managed, and their life is impacted. So I think, the journal will not certainly solve all the issues, but I think it's meant to be a voice to everybody who is involved or impacted by valvular disease.
Is there a plan in the future to include a page dedicated to patients?
Yes, actually, we have a section that is in the journal that is called the Community Forum section, where we very welcome articles. It could be opinion piece from the patients and from the organization that militate and try to lobby for the patients, so such as Heart Valve Voice that we have in many countries now. So yes, definitely, absolutely. We want to be the voice not only of the doctors who are treating patients with valve disease, of the scientists who work on do basic research on valve disease, but also of the patients and their caregivers. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go a little bit more, perhaps, into the specifics of the journal, and just let me ask you what the nature, affiliation, leadership structure, operating features of this journal of heart valve disease are.
So yeah, so I think obviously we have assembled a editorial board, and I have to say, Hector and Kishan, I am very proud. It's really a dream team of editors. I have to say the privilege and honor to serve as the first editor in chief of this new journal, the Journal of the Heart Valve Society, and this was something very close to my heart and very personal, and I have really a dream team. The two managing editors who are from my institution, Nancy Cote and Sébastien Echt, are super efficient, and we have deputy editors, in particular Jordan Miller and Vinod Turani and Julian Mine for the statistical analysis. We have great guest editors because, of course, we receive several articles where editors are also co-authors, so we cannot evaluate those papers. So we have Francesca Dehling, we have Bart Mellis, and you, Hector. Thank you for having accepted this mission. And then we have a group of associate editors, very diversified from different countries, different stage of careers, different geographic location. And so Amer Abbas, Guillaume Bonnet from France, Romain Caboulod also from France, Marianne Clavel, who is from my institution, very interested in women valvular health, Lakshmi Dazi, who is a biomedical engineering expert, Alessandra de la Corte, cardiac surgeon, Sami and Maria, interventional cardiologist, Seung Pyo Lee from South Korea, Maximilian Nottenboom. I want to pause on Maximilian because he is the representative of the young professional board of the network of the Heart Valve Society. That is a new network, and we really want to give a voice to everybody, whatever is where you're working, which expertise, and at which stage of career you are. We want really to give a voice to the fellows, to the graduate students, to the young faculties, and etc. Yukatsu Okada from Japan, a cardiac surgeon, Stephanie Sellers from Canada with a great basic researcher, Johanna Takenberg, of course, a very famous epidemiologist from Netherlands, and Kevin Veen also from Netherlands. So really a diversified group of people, and people really who are dedicated to the cause of valvular disease and not the journal.
I think I think that is very important because it talks about inclusion. It talks about inclusion, global inclusion of worldwide, and coming into unity of different minds of different researchers around the world, and putting them together such that the fertilization that can occur, the cross fertilization that can occur within this forum of the Journal of Heart Valve Disease is tremendous. But I also like that this is not just inclusivity just to bring everybody who wants to come. This is inclusivity is also merit-based. In other words, people who are involved in this is because they have actually contributed in a significant manner, and they are ready to help the new generation to start contributing in a significant manner as well. So that is super exciting.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Hector. And I think one of our top priorities is to achieve a high level of diversity, equity, and inclusion, which we can, as we just discussed, with respect to the composition of the editorial board, but also to the authors contributing to the journal, the selected topics, in all ways, And we thought, that this issue and this priority of DEI was granted forever. But I think the recent times and what's happening in the US just remind us that this is not granted, and that in everything we do in life, and especially editorship of a new journal, it's really important to take care about this DEIs, aspect, and for the patient as well. There are so many people in all countries who are underrepresented in the studies, who are underserved in terms of care, because they are women, because they are from immigration, because they are from First Nation, etc. And if we talk about low-income countries, there are so many people who are underserved, undertreated, underdiagnosed, and I think we need to do something. And I think one of the mission of the journal and of the editors will be to fill this gap and help, to improve diversity, equity, and inclusion for everybody. So everybody involved or impacted by bowel disease.
That is fantastic. Before I give word to Dr. Nareen, just wanted to see if you wanted to mention like a few specifics about the journal in terms of, how many times is it going to be published per year, how accessible is it, and those kinds of small things that are very important for authors. And if you can kind of show us a sneak peek,
Yeah.
of the first inaugural issue.
So the plan is to publish 4 issues per year. Well, this year there might be 5, because the first one that was supposed to be published end of 2024 will actually be published, as you see on the slide, on February 17, 2025. But yeah, on average, it will be 4 issues per year, plus a supplemental issue where we're going to publish the abstract of the annual meeting of the Heart Valve Society. So we're going to publish the abstract of the annual meeting 2024 right after the first issue. And then, of course, you announce the meeting that we're going to have in Cairo, that I'm sure will be very successful. And we're going to encourage the people who present at HVS to publish, of course, their full article in the journal. And so it's an open access journal. So there is a fee to pay for the publication. That's the advantage of being open access. Your article will be available for everybody everywhere. Again, we want to have, accessibility. It's part of the DEI priorities also of our articles, but there is a fee to pay. I think, compared to all other open access journals, it is very reasonable. It's $1,500 US dollar for if you are not a member of the society, but if you are a member, it's 1,000. So another argument to join, that's one of the benefits of being a member of the Heart Valve Society. You're going to have discounted fees. But for the authors coming from some countries, low-income countries, we have also the possibility to have a waiver of the fees for publication. Okay, and so the first issue, I was not dreaming of such a kickstart issue. We have 197 pages of articles. Can you imagine? So we have 3 original research articles, accompanied by 3 editorials from experts in the field. We have 8 state-of-the-art review articles and it's we have focused issues. So this one is focused on the aortic valve, and so state-of-the-art review on the aortic valve. So we have. For example, evolution and management of aortic stenosis in chronic kidney disease, the prognostic role of myocardial fibrosis markers in aortic stenosis, etc. The Ross procedure in adults, that's a beautiful one as well. These state-of-the-art articles are superb. And then we also have to have some more spice. We have some viewpoint and debate articles. There is an interesting viewpoint on this concept of cardiac damage staging, that is often um, people are enthusiastic or are more critical. So it was good to have a viewpoint. And we have a debate on a never-ending topic, Doppler echocardiography versus invasive assessment by cardiac catheterization in prosthetic valves and bioprosthetic valves. So a pro and con from really the top expert in the field. So very interesting. And we are very fortunate to publish an expert consensus statement. This is the first international consortium for health outcome measurement, so the ISHN standard data set for reporting outcomes in heart valve disease. And this paper is a princeps article, and very important. I'm sure it's going to be referenced a lot, and it's going to be published simultaneously in the Journal of Heart Valve Society, as well as in several other cardiology journals, the top cardiology journals. So, and then we have, a very interesting and very well written article from the Young Professional Network, and an in memoriam also about, of course, our friend Alain Cribier, who passed away last year. So really, I could not have dreamed of a best issue to start, this journal. And the next issues will be more on the second one this year will be on everything that is valve intervention, prosthetic valve substitute. Issue number 3 is about the other valve, because the first one was focused on the aortic valve. So now we are getting to the mitral, tricuspid, multiple and mixed valvular disease. Issue number 4, because again, this is something that is close to our heart and to our priorities. So DEI issues in valvular disease, so underrepresented, underserved population. Also, I can give you a glimpse of, I think we need certainly a focused issue on rheumatic heart disease. I think it's, this disease is killing so many people, young people in so many countries. And I think it's a shame that this topic does not have a broader place and role in the journal and in research and in healthcare management. So I think we have to do something. And so I'm planning a focused issue on this important topic as well after the issue number 4, probably.
Well, listen, I had the opportunity of looking at this first issue, and I was blown away. This is top-notch, state-of-the-art academic debate and academic production. This is it's funny how you say that it's going to be published also in the top cardiology journals and this and that. This is going to be a top cardiology journal in a very short amount of time. And I want to give the space now to Dr. Nareen Kishan. Welcome.
Yes, thank you, Hector. And thank you, Philippe, for making yourself available for this interview. Hector, thanks for the nice introduction that you gave for me. And I think I will start by saying there is no question about the necessity for a journal like this. And I thank Dr. Pibarot for demonstrating to us this morning in this interview how much thought has gone into this and the global nature of this journal. He even went to explain to us just now how there's a possibility for those from underdeveloped countries to publish their work at a low cost. That's getting really into the detail of a journal like this, which is globally focused. I'm also happy to hear that this journal is constantly bearing in mind that the end result is treatment for a patient, which Philippe has eloquently stated. Now, for me, an important question, and a question, I think before I get to this question, we have addressed the question of the young professionals. The group of young professionals who we are so keenly aware of wanted to know what are the main areas of focus of this journal. And Hector has quite elaborately questioned that, and I think Philippe has given a satisfactory answer to that. For me, Philippe, what would make this journal the go-to journal for heart valve disease? In a few sentences.
Yeah. So first, to respond to this person from the young professional, which focus or topics are welcome to the journal, all of them, as long as it relates to heart valve disease. So it could be basic research, biomedical engineering, multiomics, epidemiology, general cardiology, cardiovascular imaging, interventional cardiology, cardiac surgery, cardiac rehabilitation, often underscored, health policies, and patient advocacy, all of them. And I think this is the strengths of the journal, to be open to all disciplines. And I think this is what will make the difference versus other journals who are more specialized or too global on the other side. For example, you have an article on biomedical engineering. We have some people, who do great studies, in vitro on bench, with different type of prosthetic valve, etc. Well, often when they go to the cardiology journal, clinical cardiology journal, they are turned down because there is no patient, it's not clinical enough, there is no clinical data. So they're going to publish in great biomedical engineering journals, but they are not necessarily read by the clinician, like, Journal of Biomechanics or others. And vice versa, the clinical articles that could be interested to the biomedical engineers or to the basic research people are not necessarily published in their journals. So here you have a global hub that brings everybody together, whatever is your discipline expertise, and so I think this is a great opportunity, and often also we have those, we all have these articles where there is some imaging, there is some intervention, there is a little bit of omic, and then you try to see, unless you go to a broader general cardiology journal, where often, it's turned down because maybe you're too niche, etc. And then if you go to then a more specialized journal, if you go to the imaging journals, maybe not enough imaging. If you go to the interventional, say, well, maybe not enough interventional, and you kind of, you are in a vicious cycle, and you're not finding a place for your papers. So here, instead of being, a journal that is, as most of the journal, focused on a discipline, on interventional cardiology or cardiac surgery or general cardiology, whatever, we are focused on the disease and on the patient. We are patient-centered, and we focus on the disease, and then it opens the field much more to every articles, as long as, and then I think the readership will like that, because they can read things that are really in their discipline, in their expertise. And then, by the way, this article, that is biomedical engineering done in vitro, there are some results that are interesting, hypothesis generating for me, and I'm going to do a study on that because, I saw the paper while reading others that were more belonging to my expertise. And I think for basic researchers as well, there is not much place, I would say, in the cardiology journal and journal in general for basic research in valvular disease. For those people who do basic research in valvular disease, biomedical engineering, etc., and even multiomic, it's often difficult to get published because, heart valve disease, yes, I mean, it's very important, and I think the burden is underestimated. But if you go into the more general journal, it's not that important for them. So for us, that's the opposite. That's what is the most important. So I think this will make a difference.
Well, thank you, Philippe. And I think that it's important that you emphasize that it's the relevance to heart valve disease that will determine what's in the journal.
Yeah.
And not necessarily what category this research or this clinical work was.
Exactly. The common denominator is heart valve disease. Then the numerator can be different.
Thank you for that answer. And in 2 sentences, probably, what would make this journal the go-to journal for heart valve disease?
I think, it's the fact that it is focused on heart valve disease, and that's the only journal fully dedicated to heart valve disease, and that it is, I would say, led, but also animated, motivated by people who are passionate about valvular disease and who are the top expert in valvular disease, and from different horizons, different expertise, different generation, and different countries. I think this will make the go-to journal
Yes.
for heart valve disease. And the fact that I think we really, the mission, the ultimate goal is to improve the longevity and quality of life of patients. And I think, that we are working for the patient. That's what is important,
I think that's an excellent answer, Philippe. And if I may summarize this, what you have just said and what you have said in the past in this interview, I would say this journal will be influenced by papers, device reports, experiments, research that will influence the current standards of practice and be influenced by the current standard of practice. I think what you are saying, if I am correct, is that this will be a state-of-the-art journal where someone can go to and say, well, here, what's the last study, probably, what's the last opinion on this? What's the most relevant recent research on this aspect of heart valve disease? So am I correct in assuming that it will be a go-to journal in the sense that it will influence and be influenced by current standards of practice and current questions in heart valve disease?
Yes, we really want to be, and I think it's good that you raised this important point. We really want to be a journal that we're going to be able to monitor, surveil the most recent advances in heart valve disease. And we have a very flexible, I think, structure and editorial board where we can publish rapidly articles, like viewpoints and update on hot topic, new studies, etc. And so I think this will give us an opportunity to really be up to date on heart valve disease, because we, as soon as the article is accepted, can be published online even before the issue is published. So it's very dynamic. And so if the people really want to monitor what's happening in heart valve disease, whatever, again, the discipline, could be basic research, multi-omic, clinical intervention, they just have to read the journal and they will be, okay. And we have several different categories of articles where we can fit, we have viewpoints, debate, we have a full research article. We have, if you want to just have a short communication, we have brief report, research letter, format as well. We try to have multiple formats so it can fit the needs of the authors. We try to, facilitate as much as possible the work and reduce the burden of that is on the authors, to encourage submission. And submission of every if you have something in mind that is potentially interesting related to valvular disease, even if it looks provocating, or submit to us, and I will guarantee a fair and efficient and fast review. And I was surprised, because in the early months or years of a journal, often you publish the articles that you have invited, and that's the way it works. But I have so many spontaneous submission, and it's growing exponentially. And from original research, sometimes it's review articles, sometimes I just recently received several viewpoints that are very provocative and that were not solicited or invited. I say, well, I think the message is spreading out, and it's good.
Well, that's excellent, and I welcome the answer, and it tells me that we have a journal that is a go-to journal for heart valve disease. Thank you for taking your time, Philippe.
Well, listen, habemos journal for heart valve disease now in the world. So this is a very beautiful and noble endeavor that you are leading, Philippe, and I thank you greatly. I think obviously because of time we could talk more, but I wish to thank everybody for joining us for this installment of the Heart Valve Society interview series. Hopefully you found the discussion important. There will be a recording of this session available in the Heart Valve Society website, so you can feel free to revisit or share it with colleagues who may have missed. Please stay tuned, because there are many more interviews coming in this series of very different topics and very different disciplines regarding valvular heart disease. And hopefully we will connect with you in the future. So for now, on behalf of the Heart Valve Society, I'm Hector Michelena, and we'll see you again. Thank you.